Get way better local news updates. Like WWAY on Facebook. Now, here's Chief Meteorologist Scott Dean with your forecast first.
It has really turned out to be a delightful evening, but a warm and muggy one as we head into this first weekend of summer. A live look at Carolina Beach right now on our new Skyview weather cam. Another day in the 90s, 93 the official high at the Wilmington Airport. As you can see, both the numbers, the high and low, above our average high and low. Picked up a little bit of rain early this morning with a few spotty showers, and I'll talk about rain chances and how hot it's going to feel as we go through the weekend. WWAY News at 11 starts right now.
This is the place for news that matters. You're watching WWAY News at 11.
Now on WWAY News at 11, 7 months after a Pender County 5-year-old's death, a family member is named as a suspect. Plus, with an increased amount of neglected and unwanted horses in our state, one rescue is doing something to get those animals happy homes. And caught on camera, a truck goes up in flames and then turns into a full-on fireball. Thanks for joining us tonight for your news at 11. I'm Basil John. 7 months after a Pender County child was raped and murdered, a suspect is named in her death. It's the big story at 11. Peyton Fields' uncle, 19-year-old David Wesley Previtt, is charged with intimidating a witness and communicating threats. Investigators say in April, while in jail for allegedly burning a building, Previtt called his mother and threatened the life of the lead investigator in his 5-year-old niece's death. Peyton Fields died in November, and she was living with her maternal grandmother at the time. She was found unresponsive at the home and rushed to the hospital. The autopsy released last month revealed she was sexually assaulted and strangled. New details tonight about what led to the shooting death of Joshua Nash Bryant earlier this month, including that the deputy who fired those shots will not face charges. This coming at a news conference at the district attorney's office. The DA releasing video today of another incident in which investigators say Bryant was involved in a road rage incident where he allegedly yelled racial slurs at another driver, got into a fist fight, and then hit the other driver's car with a machete. This happened the day before his 9-hour standoff with the sheriff's office, where investigators say a suicidal Bryant refused to cooperate with deputies.
When Mr. Bryant, still wielding the long gun, illuminated the fence where deputies were stationed, Detective Dixon opened fire in order to protect the lives of his fellow officers. Mr. Bryant was struck by 3 rounds and died as a result of his injuries.
Now, investigators say Bryant had 3 guns on him when he was shot. His family says he had recently been put on medication for mental health issues. Detective Sean Dixon is expected to return to work next week. New at 11, a Camp Lejeune Marine identified as an assailant during a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, has been convicted at a court-martial, and the court is seeking to remove him from the ranks. A spokesman at Camp Lejeune said 21-year-old Lance Corporal Vasilios Pistelos was sentenced this week to 28 days of confinement and is being processed for administrative separation. The court investigated charges that Pistelos disobeyed an order or regulation and made false statements. The court-martial came after ProPublica and Frontline PBS reported in May that Pistelos was a member of a neo-Nazi group and bragged about violence he committed at the rally. A 28-year-old Burgaw man and his dog were found dead this morning in a parked car near the Petco off South College Road in Wilmington. Police say they found drugs and needles inside the car, and they believe the man died from a drug overdose and that the dog died due to heat exposure. The man's name has not been released. 4 horses are currently up for adoption in Pender County, and it's more common in North Carolina than you would think. I spoke with a local horse rescue about how they are helping the horse population. It's an ongoing issue throughout North Carolina.
Nobody wants to see horses go to slaughter. Nobody wants to see horses neglected. That's why these rescues are so important.
Cape Equine Rescue Board of Director Jewel Horton says Pender County and other areas throughout the state have seen an increase in the amount of neglected and unwanted horses. Some of these horses were malnourished or owners had to give them up.
You know, for our shelter at Pender County Animal Shelter, we are starting to see an influx, and so we reach out to other rescues to help partner with us to get these horses placed in appropriate homes.
But to help these horses in Pender County, the rescue is hosting an adoption event for Help a Horse Day.
You can come in, meet the horses, meet the volunteers. If you're interested in adopting, if we're able to do all your reference checks right there, they can go home the same day. If not, we can check on those next week and get your horse home to you hopefully within the next week or so.
Horn says if someone adopts a horse, it helps make room to take care of another neglected horse.
That initial expense is a lot for the rescue, but then to just have them for months on end and continue incurring those costs prevents us from helping other horses that are standing out there needing that type of stuff. So it's really important that we promote adoptions, and especially in an area where horses are so prevalent.
Now, a veterinarian who checked on the horses today says if you are thinking of adopting them, many of them have special needs, especially when it comes to nutrition and their diet as they get older. But she does say they're in good health. UNCW's William Randall Library is a cornerstone of the university. In addition to it being a place for students to crack open the books, it also houses collections dealing with the civil rights struggle in Southeast North Carolina. Now, the Special Collections Department is getting a $25,000 grant. It is from the State Library of North Carolina's Library Services and Technology Act grant program. The money will let the library digitize papers from several collections dealing with history of civil rights in our area. A longtime priest of the Basilica Shrine of St. Mary in Wilmington is retiring. However, his mission of spreading God's word is not over yet. He's now heading to Central America to be a missionary priest. Father Bob Cuss has served as the priest at the historic church on Ann Street since 2006. He'll travel to Honduras Monday, where he will join 2 other priests serving 50,000 people in 87 churches. He says he's excited for the new challenge, but he will also miss St. Mary, his parishioners, and Wilmington.
It's a beautiful building, the Basilica Shrine of St. Mary, but even more beautiful are the people. It's a fabulous parish, very exciting, very mission-oriented, very peppy kind of a parish.
Reverend Richard Kolajeg of Charlotte and Reverend Francisco Garcia of Wake Forest have been appointed by the Catholic Diocese of Raleigh to succeed Father Bob. Another award show takes center stage this weekend and looks like a North Carolina native will perform. What sources are saying about Sunday's BET Awards and what you can expect. And a top U.S. official says the government is reuniting several hundred children in the custody of Border Patrol with their parents tonight, plus the latest on what Congress is doing about immigration.
And do you have plans to hit the beach? Well, it certainly is going to be a great weekend to be at the beach. Imagine you're going to be fighting a lot of other people because the weather is really going to cooperate. Highs in the upper 80s, water temperatures warm as well in the low 80s, and the UV index is going to be high. Make sure you wear that sunscreen and reapply. The rest of the weekend forecast and also the details on a cool down coming up.
Now, here's Chief Meteorologist Scott Dean with your Storm Track 3 forecast.
And as you can see here on our newer Skyview weather cam at Carolina Beach, it is a delightful evening. A lot of folks enjoying this summertime weather that we've had over the past several days, and also a beautiful sunset there. As you can see, just a few high clouds overlooking the Banks Channel there earlier this evening. All right, let's take a look at the weather headlines. And if you're a fan of summer weather, well, this is the weekend for you because it's going to be hot and sticky. And while there could be a few thunderstorms out there with the heating of the day, it really does not look like we're going to see a whole lot. In fact, a lot of areas will stay dry as it looks right now. Now, we are going to be watching a front that will arrive on Monday, and behind it, it does look like the temperatures will cool down just a little bit, but it's still a balmy 82 degrees at 11 o'clock at night. A dew point way up there in the 70s, and that makes it feel like 88. At least there is a bit of a southwest wind at 13 miles an hour, and you can see everywhere across southeast North Carolina. 81s, 82s, a couple of 84s showing up over towards Lumberton and Fayetteville, and it looks like for the rest of the night, dropping only into the upper 70s. It would not surprise me if some areas near the coast only drop down to around 80 or so with partly cloudy skies. Now, as we look at the bigger picture here, and you'll see that we do have some high clouds coming in from the south and west and some showers just between Charlotte and Columbia, South Carolina. Those will head by to our north and west, and we're continuing to watch this area low pressure over Indiana. That's going to be moving up into the Great Lakes region, and we're going to stay in the hot air over the weekend. You see the circulation around this feature as it lifts off to the northeast. We stay in the deep reds all the way through the weekend, but it does look like a front will come down and bring in some cooler air from the north and northeast, and the hotter air is going to be shoved back towards the plain states, but it won't last long. It looks like the hot air will come racing right back in as we go into Thursday and into next Friday, because we're getting into that time of the year where these little mini cool downs, well, they can't battle the heat, but for only so long. Now, as far as our chances for rain, you see that our Pinpoint Futurecast model during the afternoon is showing a few showers or thunderstorms developing with the heating of the day, very typical for this time of year. Temperatures in the 90s. Then as we go into Sunday, starting off very mild, 8 o'clock in the morning, already in the low to possibly mid-80s, and then rapidly warming up well into the 90s, probably the mid-90s in many locations, but that's half the story. The heat indices are going to be even hotter than that. It's going to feel like it's going to be around 100 to 105 both Saturday afternoon and also into Sunday afternoon. So get ready for that. Make sure you drink plenty of water and stay indoors if you can to allow your body to cool down. All right, looking at the tropical update here, nothing to be concerned about in the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean Sea, and also the tropical Atlantic. Continued hot and humid tomorrow with a chance for an afternoon storm. That's going to be the only relief we see. Temperatures near 90 in the beach at the beaches, but low to mid-90s over the next couple of days. And here's your 7-day forecast. As you can see here, temperatures are going to be quite toasty over the next several days. Now, it looks like Monday will be the last day we're in the 90s and then we start to cool down Tuesday and Wednesday, but then the 90s return Thursday and Friday, and of all those days, it looks like a best chance for showers and storms will be Monday with the front.
You definitely helped me settle all my worries that I had from yesterday.
Yeah? Which were what?
Because I was freaking out because the weather was going lower and lower.
Yeah,
and I was
even
afraid.
though we're in the middle of summer, right, in South Carolina.
I don't trust North Carolina weather. I do not trust it because it shifts instantly.
I can tell you one thing. You can trust it being hot in the summertime down here.
I'll have to listen to Scott more often, obviously. Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott. Well, congressional Republicans plan to spend the weekend ironing out differences in a House immigration bill, even as President Trump tells the conference they're wasting their time. The government intends to reunite some children with their families tonight. Angelica Alvarez is on Capitol Hill.
A top U.S. official says the government is reuniting several hundred children in the custody of Border Patrol with their parents Friday night. President Trump answered critics of his recently reversed separation policy by focusing on families of crime victims.
They're not separated for a day or 2 days. They are permanently separated because they were killed by criminal illegal aliens.
He also tweeted Republicans should stop wasting their time on immigration until after we elect more senators and congressmen/women in November.
He just is acknowledging that there is no willingness of Democrats to work with us to solve this problem.
One Democrat broke House rules to play audio of what purports to be children in a detention center crying for their parents. House Republicans plan to negotiate their compromise bill through the weekend, while some senators headed straight to the border.
There's a right way and a wrong way to come to America.
Texas Senators Ted Cruz and John Cornyn toured child detention facilities in their home state, looking to keep families together and figure out legislation. A group of Democratic senators say they were denied access to a temporary tent city.
Even if your sense of humanity is not deeply offended, it is costing you, as taxpayers, $2,000 a day for every one of those young people.
The senator said the administration's policy now amounts to family imprisonment. Angelica Alvarez, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now check out this crazy video that looks like the scene out of a movie. As a truck turns a corner, it just goes up in flames all of a sudden. Reports say people yelled out to the driver that there were flames coming from the vehicle. It looked a lot like a fireball. Luckily, the driver and passenger made it out safe. Well, sports is next on WWAY News at 11. The New Hanover County District Attorney's Office has released details in the investigation of Paul Kearney. The latest if charges were filed against former coach. Next with Dustin Dorsey.
Good evening, everyone. After the sexual misconduct investigations and subsequent departure of Paul Kearney, New Hanover County District Attorney Ben David said today he'd received no charges. The New Hanover County Sheriff's Office first received allegations in 2007 from a then 26-year-old woman about sexual misconduct by Kearney dating back to 1996 when she was 15. No charges were filed then. Back in December, social media posts brought the 1996 allegations to the attention of UNCW and the DA's office. That led to a discovery of a 2004 email detailing sexual misconduct allegations against Kearney again.
As for this 2004 report, this email, SBI could not locate or identify the sender of this email. As a result, my office is not able to proceed with criminal charges against Mr. Kearney as it pertains to those victims.
UNCW, which announced yesterday that they had discontinued Kearney's employment, released a statement today saying, in part, "We respect the decision of the district attorney. However, the standard of proof for an employment decision is much different than that for a criminal prosecution. A discontinuation of an at-will employee could occur for any reason." Flight 22 welcomed in their second ever Hall of Fame class this evening in downtown Wilmington, a group featuring college stars, NFL athletes, and even a former WWAY employee. A class of 6 men joined the Flight 22 Hall of Fame this year. They are truly local stars who built theirs as part of the Flight 22 program. The 2018 class features Andrew Cook, Cole Dewey, Chris Vinson, Ryan Holland, WWAY's own Drew Combs, and current Pittsburgh Steeler Pharaoh McKeever. Each of these men brought something to the basketball court every time they played, and now they'll be forever remembered as Hall of Famers.
Oh man, it means a lot for Coach Falk to take his time out to reach out to us guys and value each one of his players and just get that text, and it was just humbling experience, very humbling.
There's so many other great players, and just getting like I said, getting to share that spotlight and getting to play with those guys and share that friendship and relationship with those guys is awesome.
Congratulations to all the members of the 2018 Flight 22 Hall of Fame class. Last night we had our fun with the NBA draft. Tonight it was hockey's turn as new Carolina Hurricanes coach Rod Brindamer made his first selection as head coach. And with the second overall pick in the NHL draft, the Carolina Hurricanes drafted Russian forward Andrei Svechnikov. A 18-year-old has now joined the ranks in the NHL and became the first overall ranked player in North American skaters by NHL Central Scouting, and brought home several top honors, including the 2017 and 2018 CHL Top Prospect Award and the OHL Rookie of the Year. Now he's coming to Carolina, and he could not be more excited.
I think it was the best moment in life, and I'm very happy with Carolina, and that looks team going kind of way up, and I will try make it this team better.
While the Canes welcomed their draft pick, the Hornets debuted theirs at the team's fan shop in Charlotte. The Buzz City faithful met with first-round pick Miles Bridges as well as hometown Carolina star in Devontae Graham, who the Hornets traded for in the second round. Plenty of autographs as well as pictures with fans, including our old sports anchor John Rendleman's sons. Fun times there. The force was strong tonight at the Shark Tank. Stars Wars night is always a fun time, and it would be even more fun if Wilmington can defeat Holly Springs and get on a little winning streak. Members of the First Order on hand tonight, clearly cheering for Holly Springs. We'll see if the light side prevailed this evening. Christian Scafferty with a strikeout right here, swinging in the early innings for the Salamanders. Holly Springs clearly using the powers of the dark side. And we get to the sixth, where Holly Springs is leading and the Salamanders add a couple more. Carter Williams with a shot down in right field. These are not the hits you're looking for, Sharks fans. That makes it 5-0. Bottom half of the inning, Paxton Walsh with a swing of the lightsaber for an RBI. Gets Wilmington on the board, but not enough for the win. Holly Springs and the dark side prevail, 9-2. From Star Wars to superheroes, Mackenzie Gore was on the mound tonight for Hero Night at the ballpark. Top of the third with 2 on, Gore gets him swinging for the second out of the inning, but he wouldn't get any more of those before letting up a few runs, down 2-0 now, and worse. A hit right over the glove of the first baseman will bring home 2 more. Another rough start, unfortunately, after a couple good ones for Gore. On this rainy night, it's 3 innings, 6 hits, and the 4 runs in the third for the lefty. Well, we made it to the end of the week, a busy one, certainly in the sports world, but we know it never stops. Watch some sports this weekend and stay cool, folks. I know you will, Basil.
All right, thank you so much, Dustin. You have a good weekend. You deserve a break, man. Well, from sports to the entertainment world, an award show is about to kick off, and looks like the voice of a North Carolina native will take the stage, what sources are saying. Joe Jackson, the patriarch of the Jackson family of musicians, is reportedly in the end stages of terminal cancer. Variety reports that the 89-year-old is in the hospital and family members have been visiting him this week. Jackson has been plagued by several health problems in recent years, including a heart attack, dementia, and strokes. Jackson is legendary for creating the Jackson 5 and pushing his children toward musical success, but also for subjecting them to, at times, physical and mental abuse. Family has reportedly been by his bedside or to visit. Jackson last posted a video on Twitter of himself on June 6th explaining that he was at Jamba Juice where his son Michael's music happened to be playing. Anthony Bourdain was not on drugs when he killed himself earlier this month. French officials just released toxicology results on the celebrity chef. The report says he had no narcotics in his system at the time of his death, and he was found dead in a hotel bathroom in France while working on his hit CNN show, Parts Unknown. Bourdain was open about his addictions to cocaine, heroin, and other drugs while working as a chef in the 80s. He got clean in 1990. Bourdain leaves behind a wife and 11-year-old child. The family plans a small memorial service in the future. Looks like North Carolina native J. Cole is set to perform at Sunday's BET Awards. A person familiar with the awards show tells the Associated Press that the rapper will perform at the show. Nicki Minaj, DJ Khaled, Migos, Snoop Dogg, Janelle Monáe, Miguel, 2 Chainz, and Her are also performing. Oscar winner Jamie Foxx is set to host. Now, J. Cole, who released his 5th album, K.O.D., to critical acclaim in April, is nominated for Best Male Hip-Hop Artist, where he will compete with Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and DJ Khaled. The BET Awards will air live from the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles. Speaking of the BET Awards, R&B legend Anita Baker is getting a big honor during the big event. The 8-time Grammy winner is set to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award Sunday. Baker topped Billboard's R&B hip-hop album chart 4 times, and her songs Giving You That I Got and Sweet Love made Billboard's Hot 100 top 10. After the break, one last look at your weekend forecast.
And as we head through the weekend, it is going to be a hot one. Temperatures in the low to mid 90s with a chance for an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, but certainly no guarantee you'll see rain, as we'll see the best chance for rain come on Monday. That's where the front is going to be coming through. That'll be the last of a long string of days where we make it into the 90s, where we'll see some cooler air on Tuesday and Wednesdays. We make it into the 80s. That'll be nice. Certainly a nice change there and lower chances for rain. But the weekend looking very summery, so if you're a fan of summer weather, you're going to love this weekend for sure.
Perfect napping weather as well.
Yes, it will, with the AC on.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
Scott was over there taking a nap. He's already ready for the weekend. Well, Scott, how about this? You're going to love this story, in fact. So, take me out to the... And apparently, one baseball fan just couldn't hang. This guy took a little snooze during Wednesday night's North Carolina-Oregon State College World Series game, and the cameras caught him in the act. A reporter even did a live hit right in front of him and just couldn't help but laugh. But he finally wakes up when a security guard comes over to check on him. I guess it was quite the snoozer of a game.
You have to wonder if there might have been some alcohol involved earlier.
Possibly. I would not be surprised.
America's pastime.
Well, I mean, you know, if the game's, you know, not really feeling
He didn't look like he knew where he was.
He definitely took our advice, decided to take a nap. Sounds like it's about time, too.